Yes, I'm in a pizzeria, but good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to IMOS. This is a reflection. This is not a reaction. It's just a very quick reflection. If IMR is heading to a disaster with this new project. And many of you have seen IMR talk about this car park or the garage project, whatever. I don't have nothing against. It seems like a good idea, something really he needs because his house, when it was designed with a car park. But when he built the fish pond, he eliminated their access. He had enough access. He had the space, at least for 2 or 3 cars on the back of his house. He transformed that in a room and something else. Anyway, I think it was not a very clever decision, but it's his house. He does what he wants, whatever, whenever. Who I am to tell him to do whatever he wants. But also, it's a very lucid when you're not an engineer or an architect, or you don't know about how buildings work. We saw the problems with the water, the gravity issues, the materials, and all that. But I want to just bring attention something very particular, and you guys who like him, you interact with him, you have to call his attention. It's about this car park. There is a couple of disclosures he done on it by himself that as an engineer, me personal, I'm a civil and structural engineer. I deal with mega structures, not mega structures that can with other people. We just work together. It's not just me design alone. No, there is different inputs, the different codes, different materials, and so forth. Here is a problem, a very technical issue, and this is my experience as an African in Africa, and then it's my experience as an African in a very well-developed world. And a lot of information is available on Google. If you Google, you find the information about anything today. And even when he was live, I put a link on the comments, and then I realized most of you other people, they didn't pay attention to that link. They never went to see, and that is the reason I'm here doing this reflection. First of all, the guy who is working with Ayamara, I like him. I like him because even doing by heart or by mind, the way he ties the steel is very professional. But here's a problem. Is this beam, the span of the beam and the depth of the beam and the supports. As a structural engineer, when you plan a building, you need to be very careful with the materials you're using, the sizing your pillars, the footing of your pillars, how these footing have to be in the epicenter of the gravity of the forces. And then also, as the owner of the project, you need to think about the money you're going to invest there. It does not become a pit. It seems like this project of Ayamara is going to become a money pit. I had the pleasure and honor spoke to Gitiriba, and I liked to Gitiriba, look, you need to advise Ayamara to find somebody to advise him what he's doing before he progresses. But anyway, what I want to highlight here is a problem, a serious, and I see so many people, well done, Ayamara. Guys, cool down. This is engineering. The guy who designed that building, he lives in. He was very important in defining the sizes and of all elements the building have. But when Ayamara decided on the roof, without people, specialists, we saw the consequences. He saw how much money he lost. You have to break the roof and redo it. So that cost over there on that roof was not easy, I can tell you, because I live with that problem. And then I know. And then I can tell you a story in Camps Bay, in Cape Town. There is a house, similar philosophy and principles as Ayamaro, even in Lusaka. We had a project in Lusaka in Zambia with the same characteristics. Even when I saw the house, I said, is the same person? Is the same architect? Is the same structural engineer? But in engineering, everything, the solutions you can overcome. So here is me as an engineer telling you, the audience, you the lovers, you the what's called the viewers, you are the supporters, whatever you like about Ayamara, is to highlight him. There is a problem. And then I have watched the video 4 times. And then I try use EI to assume roughly the distances between the support. What is the problem in that building? First of all, is the lateral supports. The center of gravity of the lateral supports. When he shows with the camera, he shows that the footing, the beam or the columns are off the center of gravity and the size of that footing. When you don't define the compression forces that the roof will have, they call the wind forces, if it does not put an extra building, because I know Ayamara will change his mind, he will discover, and that is why I mentioned will be a money pit because of the risk. He will come and say, oh, I can do an A and B on top of that, can put a couple of rooms, can be an income, can be an office, I can transfer my PGs, my whatever stuff and use, because he doesn't want to lose the space, the greenery. So by doing that, now everybody builds, prepare the structure, the bottom part of a structure, robustic. So if in the future, in a case, you change your mind, you have more money, whatever, you can build. There is a lady from Miami called Kenza Baby. Is in Ghana, is building, is a reference. You guys can go to check Kenza's Baby building and see how she has built it. And then you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. But where's the dangerous here? Well, I am most. Please like the video, leave your comments, I'll appreciate. Also share it. The point here is the span between the supports. I want to show you something very interesting. You see, there is a bus stop. You see, the support, that first support is here. And the span to the last support that is there, that on total length here is more than 10 meters. And look, the roof, look the line there on top of the roof. This is an example of a car park. So what is on top of that is light, but it's cantilever. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 supports in a cantilever mode. So in the case of Ayamaro, it's not a cantilever mode. No. They have some fixed points. There are 4 main points pointed, or 5 or 6, whatever. But when it spans from one side, this is one support, to the next support, in a space where you park 2 cars, it's fine. It's fine since the beam from this support to that support does not deflect, does not sagging. But looking what they're doing and the look of the size of the pillars and what he said, I'm talking his words, what he said, because on the pillars that are like Y18 or I think it's Y8, it's not Y6, because if it was Y6, could be more thinner. It seems Y8 or Y10. Each bar, the square meter of pressure, the axial force, and the height implies something. And that something is when you as a human walk. If you want to keep your be vertical, you have to have a center. In this case, here is not a human, it's a structure that is fixed on the ground. There is up forces because it's going to be space opened up, lift force of the roof, the lateral forces. Rain is not Europe where we have snow and all. No. All those elements, if you don't take in account what's happening, the probability if the building sway, going that way or this way or uplift. We saw many documentaries in YouTube about these disasters in America, especially Miami, in the south of the, where houses been blown away. So, you remember Congressman when he was building the garage? There is a real example how she built. She used wood and she used a U-shaped form to overcome the forces of the roof. In the case of Ayamara, is using a pinpoint element. And there is no plan, there is no ideas, there is no nothing. Just there is footings. He's using footings. And those footings, they are not size in terms of compression. They are just mind decide decision. So what I'm trying to say here, the risks is invest money and it becomes a problem of investment. If that investment you're making, I don't know in Kenya how much is a cube meter of concrete. In South Africa, here at the time I was talking like 375 cost per square, whatever, depends on how you're gonna calculate this project. Is the risk of stability, and then is the risk parking a high value car in this garage and the building collapse. Remember, Ayamara is an unpredictable person. He comes and makes statements beautiful, we like, we enjoy, but in the case of engineering, has failed many times. And the first failure is the helicopter, helipad. And many people have been highlighted, did you have done this? The first thing you should have called the DIA, the Kenya Authority for Aviation, to approve or to give him, if that helipad, the helicopter can land. He never done that license, he never. If a helicopter comes and land there, he could be fined. Somebody take a picture, that will be the nail on the coffin. And his career can be over only with that, because it's a crime, it's a public safety. They call the International Aviation Safety. And the case of the garage is a different story, because it's a rural area, whatever, is international visitors coming, and that car park failed. These international visitors, they pay insurance when they travel. So the insurers, they will come to evaluate that garage, or if he pays for that car, because that car he has is a light cruiser, is a high value, he needs to put in insurance, because he can lose the money. And that beam bends, or either side builds something, fails, whatever, whenever. These international visitors, he will have to bear the bill. So is Ayamara prepared for that? Well, is you who supports Ayamara, is you who watch him, is you who support him, you give donations, time to call his attention, say, hold on, brother, there is a red light here. Are these correct what you're doing? You need to bring an expert. We like, it's a Netflix, it's a telenovela. I agree with everybody. I don't have doubts. I enjoy. Every guy that I got even the virus, everybody go find if he done a different video. And no, I'm not looking for mistakes and problems. There is a lot of things there with the kitchen and everything. I can talk to you about that marble. That marble will break, but it's not the time to talk about that marble. Let him learn, because he will not listen, because there is a solution for that marble. You can create the same as the congressman done a garage. They call the U-shaped frame. He can put it, because I know he wants people visualize that kitchen, that trim of the marble. The marble looks like that, but he can put in a U-shaped tubular frame, and then still have the same with that putting table that you want to lay across the kitchen. But you have to realize how thin it is. It's like that. And let me show you the situation. Is this situation here. You see this situation here. You see here is a support, there is a support. But I am marijuana use from there to here with no support. This is a small thing. This is a small table here. This is a small table. I'm here inside Domino's Pizza with my boy. Yeah, this is Domino's Pizza. And then this is an example of that counter. So what is the problem with that counter? It's the same problem, the same issue there in the garage, but in the different scale, in different dimensions. Because we are looking in a horizontal way. When you look at the counter, you look at the factor or UDL, called uniform distribute load. That per meter length and area, and then the supports. And again, the solution lays on that garage of his mother. The solution for this lays because of the U-frame of the door of the garage of his mother. So I'm an engineer. I'm talking in retrospective. It's same looking to the house of Gabby, this girl, this Irish girl. There's another problem. They're similar. All these three problems are interconnected. Maybe you don't understand what I'm talking, but you can go on the internet and look into. There is a problem, and it's time before it throws money. Stop. It's the same story with that fish pond is losing money. He's throwing money. Finally, I do remember. I don't want to show off. When I spoke to the earlier days with the engineer, if you go to on my posts here on my YouTube channel, on my post, I was the guy who told the engineer the solution for that gate, that entrance. You can go on my post, the drawing is still there. You will see the sketch I done, so you can understand how that gate ended up to be as it is. Even being as it is, IMRA violates the rule. Luckily, and thanks to Lord above, those solar panels, they don't exceed 0.7 kiloliters per square meter. Each panel. If each of those panels could exceed 0.7 kilonewtons per square meter. That is the force in engineering, how you design a structure. And then the uplift force at that height, we saw now it's raining, and then we see the wind that peaks. If those at an angle, those panels at an angle, that structure had collapsed long time. That God Almighty, please don't do it. Please don't do it, because it's going to be an embarrassing situation. What is the beauty there is the fixed points of the panels on the left, on the right, on the ends, that keeps down the uplift force that comes when he drives towards his house, that comes towards from in his house, driving outside. The vortex that created the movement is a very small vortex force. And then the influence of the trees, opposite side where is the fish pond. The other side is open fields. There where could happen more impact, but it's negligible because of the face of the wall. When it hits, the height is not that height you can. It's many factors you have to sit and look in terms. This is a crazy mind of engineers. How we look, how we think, how we prevent, how we see things, how we make things to work. So in the garage, coming back to this garage, this car park, is the spanning, the issue of the spanning, but also the beauty as IMRs create in this compound. Building more buildings around the compound, you make the compound become a jungle city. And jungle city is not needed in that environment. He have created a very ecosystem, beautiful work system. Even I could give him an award, a medal. I could give him for create that ecosystem. That's what today all these people talk about greenery, save the planet. There is an example how to save the planet. But is these elements, small elements, like he talks about replace this mud building that is needed. I thought he was remove the mud building and put the car park there. No. That another kind of aesthetics there will become the architects, the people they know beauties and all that. But anyway, so is this point I'm trying to bring here is planning of building a garage is a different planning of building a house, is a different of building a warehouse. A garage is a puzzle, and many people, they don't give that importance, and that's why you see many people losing cars, very valuable cars, because they're going to extreme building this fancy garage. An example, in 4 ways in South Africa, they call the Sun City. The people build these houses with this space. Sorry for the noise. These, English people when they talk, for them to be heard, they have to speak louder, more loud than Jesus Christ. But anyway, our brothers and sisters, they're talking. Sorry, let's respect them also, but they're talking too much louder. Anyway, I'm in the public space also, I have to understand that. But in this case, in this place, in Sun City, is when you're driving from 4 ways to Deep Slot, if you've been in South Africa. There is this new city that's building there. And then I was one of the engineers involved in this building. And these engineers, very young engineers, educated in South Africa. And they use these massive spaces. So this guy bought a Cadillac from the United States, and then he wanted a garage like IMRS built it. But what was the problem there? The problem, he wants this garage in the basement, and he want to build on top his living room. So he wants 9 meters. This is a span from point to point, open 9 meters, depth 12 meters, no support. As engineers, we have to come with solutions. We have to find a way of cracking the code of gravity, defy gravity. All analysis, all calculations, everything indicated we can have the span of 10 meters, but we could not have the in of 12 meters without creating a guidance system. And this guy was like, no. We say, okay, we want money. This guy wants something innovative. We came with solution. But how we create a solution? We took a space, the most needed space this guy needed. We create a structure like an hangar. You see where the aeroplanes, when you see these big aeroplanes, massive aeroplanes, go for maintenance. So we have to create a space like that. That structure you see on the top, something like that. It cost him millions. This is the point I'm referring here, why he will become a money pit. because IMR is using cheap materials. It's getting emotional. And cheap materials can be a risk. And then especially when you have this foreigners visitor, they can come with liability for himself. So he needs an engineer to solve this problem of the garage. For his visitors and for the cars. Cars an investment. To buy a car, it takes you 5 years to pay a car. Or 3 years, depends on which level and gap of in life you are and you pay off. So anyway, my name is Ayamos. I just came here make my reflection, my opinion. I see a lot of opinions. Dr. Code 247, the house is leaking. Well, I think you're a bit off, but is your point of view. You're really take this in a different level. You are not looking at an engineering point of view. If it's leaking, there is a solution. I am an engineer. I could help IMR leaking. If IMR is there or anybody, I can give him a solution. It's not a serious problem. Here is more the statement. Here is more jealousy and not understand what it's all about. The helipad and can't buy panties for himself. Well, you're a bit rude. You should not be here doing that comment. You are jealous of Ayamara. That is a straight. If anybody understands the psychology, will realize this daughter called 254 is jealous about the achievements of Ayamara and his crimes. Greetings for Uganda. Check me out, okay? Francisca, I've been checking you out, Francisca. I did. I know you. I am Pili, okay? Sounds like from South Africa. I'm not sure why you're entertaining the kind of comments that I see here. Like you review, but I think you should not entertain the nasty comments. Don't worry about, sister. Thanks you. I appreciate Pili. Hello, what is the topic here? Well, this is the problems also I have with the people on my other channel in Mozambique. They call Moses and Papa Nalingua. Is people just jumping in a life. I'm not trying to insult. Please, can you read the name of this life before you just come here and jump it in? Not just because you have to jump in. This is very irresponsible. We Africans have this attitude. Well, I'm not going to talk. I feel sometimes offended to see my brothers and sisters, they behave. You know, we need to be very careful when we're talking in social media, when we're dealing with the social media. We need to pay attention. A few minutes. This is the topic. I came later. Let me listen when the end of the story, and then let me review. That's why always we ask it, please see the video from the beginning to understand what we've been talking. Then I'm going to make you a favor. I'm talking about the risks of Ayamara build this car park or garage. Structural wise, the mistakes that's what I'm talking about as an engineer, structural and civil engineer. I'm not talking here as a chemistry. I'm not talking here as an architect. I'm not talking here as a lawyer. I'm taking my point of views, my experience, looking at the gatekeepers necessary for him avoid problems. If you think I'm not right, you can come with your views, your opinion. Why not? Life goes on. Life goes on. That is. Thank you for you watching, 22 people, for be here. Just highlight the risks that he have, what he's doing can be prevented, and you can influentiate. That is simple. Different opinions, like that guy from Australia was talking about the staircase. Ayamara's ignore about the staircase, and the staircase is a huge risk because Malaysia is growing. It should resolve that staircase ASP. There is another dilemma. This 247 code should be talking about the staircase. I will support you. The problem in the kitchen. What he's trying to do with the counter in the kitchen. These are the things we should be highlight points. The water issue, the pump, the pressure pump is too small. It needs 4 pressure pumps. It needs create a pump house near the river to support on the dry season the fish pond and the house. These are the things we should come here, interact, and advise Ayamara, not come here because that. Did you build a house? That is the problem. Why you talk about things, you as a Kenyan, whatever you are, you don't like seeing other black men, African, do things. Marwa has done very well, and then I can tell you, no freaking stupid, blind African ever has done as Ayamaro. We have that guy, Guatemala. Show me something about Guatemala as the same level of him. Show me, and all these stupid YouTubers that go around the world, sleep with our sisters and mothers and brothers, only they talk about love, sex, a good time. Ayamara is the unique YouTuber that has come with a different narrative, life. And then we have to feel appreciate whatever you come from. Guys, sincerely, this is no need for us to do this. This is what I hate sometimes to talk about. But anyway, no, I am not African. Good. If you are not African, so visit Africa is a paradise. Believe me, it's a paradise. Africa, any country go to Africa is something unique. I remember this guy from France that danced from the North African till Cape Town. He was given an interview another day in Cape Town, and I was watching. He was like, it blows his mind. He was like, yo, God, I never thought this was Africa. This is out of this world. This is what the beauty of Africa. Anyway, I am Pili Moz. I have worked in construction, also studied general construction as construction technician, draftsman, and construction supervisor. Oh, lovely, nice, thank you. Help Ayamarwa. You might could give him some topics. You can use SketchUp. You can use AutoCAD to do some sketch, some draft. You can use Revit. Today, all these softwares are out there. Ayamarwa even himself can go scratch how much span, depth, needs, what type of steel, what type of tiles, what type of cement, what class of cement, of size of stone, how mix the waters, how mix. To be honest, the last video, he went a little bit off. He touching a subject. This is another thing. He should not be touching subjects like he's a doctor, he's a witchcraft, he's an engineer. No, he should focus on the lifestyle. When it comes to these, leave us the specialists to comment on. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. My name is Ayamos. Please, if you like the video, give a thumb up. Come more times. And if you're new, subscribe, enjoy, let's talk. But don't be rude. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to be jealous. You don't need. Life goes on, brothers. Life is beautiful. Look outside. Look, people enjoying life. Look that. This is England. Look, people, they're going their own lives. Look. Huh? Look, drugs, people to drugs or whatever. And you, what you're doing there? You're just talking bad about somebody. Come on. One love.